Today, we're diving into the life of a few NFL icons who were more than just athletes, but heroes in every sense of the word.
Avengers! Assemble.
And no, we're not talking about the guys who score touchdowns every Sunday, or the ones who score those big sponsorships. I'm talking about the type of guy who will step away from the spotlight to serve his country, face danger head on, and then to go on to leave their mark in the NFL. And trust me, these are stories you don't want to miss. Alright, let's kick things off with Roger Staubach. He played at an extremely high level for 11 seasons with the Dallas Cowboys, even picking up 2 Super Bowl rings along the way. But what you might not know is that he was a true blue American hero before ever setting foot on an NFL field.
Foosball? You playing the foosball behind my back?
Now, Roger was a serious triple threat when he was in college, and not just on the football field. He played basketball and baseball too. He attended the U.S. Naval Academy, where he basically rewrote the playbook on what it means to be a student athlete. And in 1963, he won the Heisman Trophy, which is kind of a big deal in college. But instead of going straight to the pros, Staubach had other plans in mind. When he graduated the Naval Academy in 1965, he could have taken an assignment that would have kept him in the States. But no, he volunteered for Vietnam, where he spent 2 years as a Supply Corps officer. And let's be clear, being a supply officer isn't just about taking inventory and counting boxes. Roger was on the ground, managing supplies in challenging conditions, all while trying to keep his football dreams alive. He returned to the States in 1967, but his military service wasn't up yet. He continued to serve in various roles stateside, preparing for a future he hoped that would include the NFL. Now just imagine a Heisman Trophy winner playing ball with his fellow officers and soldiers, just waiting for his time to shine on the biggest stage in the NFL. And finally, in 1969, he made his debut with the Dallas Cowboys as a 27-year-old rookie. And in the NFL, that's ancient. All the while, most players are starting their career in their early 20s. But Roger waited, and now was his chance after years of military service. Now talk about some patience. And it didn't take him long to make an impact. Staubach led the Cowboys to 5 Super Bowl appearances, winning 2 of them, all while becoming the first player to win the Heisman Trophy and Super Bowl MVP. This guy was the Tom Brady of his day, except he was a decorated military officer also. Staubach retired from the NFL in 1980 and was enshrined in the Football Hall of Fame just 5 years later. And when you thought it was finally time for him to relax, Roger went on to build a multi-million-dollar real estate empire. You know, just a military vet, an NFL legend, and finally, to a successful businessman. Roger Staubach earned his place as an American icon. Up next, a true giant, Alejandro Villanueva. Now, Villanueva didn't exactly take a straight path to the NFL. In fact, he didn't even grow up playing American football. He actually spent most of his childhood playing rugby with his brother, who went on to play professionally, even earning an Olympic roster spot in 2016. Meanwhile, Alejandro, who was 6'9" and a force to be reckoned with, so naturally, he was a monster at football. When Villanueva went on to West Point, he played college ball for the Army Black Knights, showing off his versatility by playing almost every position. He played left tackle, defensive lineman, tight end, and believe it or not, wide receiver his senior year. Just imagine a 6'9" wide receiver weighing 290 pounds running straight at you. Not exactly your average wideout. After graduating, Alejandro was commissioned as a second lieutenant in the infantry. He went on to attend Airborne and Ranger School, all before deploying with the 10th Mountain Division during Operation Enduring Freedom. His heroism shone through during his first deployment when he rescued wounded soldiers under enemy fire. He was later awarded the Bronze Star with V device. Big Al went on to deploy 2 more times to Afghanistan, all while trying to keep his football dreams alive. And after his time in the Army was up in 2015, Al set his sights on the NFL. And no, he wasn't a hotshot draft pick, though he did have a few tryouts during his military service, but nothing seemed to pan out. But after attending a regional NFL combine in 2014, he was one of 240 players out of 3,000 to get an invitation to try out for NFL teams. He was signed by the Philadelphia Eagles, but was cut a few months later. Tough break, eh?
Even if she is married, it's a Canadian marriage. It's like their money or their army. Nobody takes it seriously.
But not for long. After catching the eye of Mike Tomlin, he signed with the Steelers in August of 14. Al spent the 2014 season on the practice squad, learning a new position, bulking up, and perfecting his technique. And by 2015, he was the starting left tackle, and he held down that position for the next 6 seasons. Villanueva started 107 games in total, becoming known for both his skill on the field and his patriotism off it. Now, Alejandro retired in 2022. And he left behind a legacy of sportsmanship and true American passion. And now finally, we have the story of Pat Tillman, one of pure grit, loyalty, and ultimate sacrifice. Now, he started his career as a linebacker for Arizona State in 1994. He wasn't a top recruit by any means, but he fought his way onto the team and quickly became a fan favorite. And by his junior year, he helped his team to the Rose Bowl in an undefeated season. And when the NFL came calling in 1998, Pat was drafted by the Arizona Cardinals with the 226th pick. In the NFL, Pat moved over to safety, where he quickly proved his worth. He started 10 of 16 games his rookie season, impressing both fans and coaches alike with his work ethic. But here's where Pat's story takes an interesting turn. At one point, he was offered a 5-year, $9 million contract by the St. Louis Rams, but Pat, being the loyal guy he was, turned it down to stay in Arizona. After the attacks on September 11th, Pat made a life-changing decision. He walked away from a 3-year, multi-million-dollar contract with the Cardinals to enlist in the U.S. Army alongside his brother Kevin. The two completed basic training and then went on to Ranger School together. They completed the assessment and selection parts of the program before being assigned to the 2nd Ranger Bat at Fort Lewis, Washington. Pat was deployed during the invasion of Iraq, and then went on to complete Ranger School once he returned home. After graduating in November of 2003, Pat returned to Afghanistan once again. Tragically, Pat lost his life in 2004 during an exchange with hostile forces. After an investigation, it was determined that Pat's death was due to friendly fire in the chaos of the firefight. His loss sent shockwaves through the sports world, and even to this day, he is remembered as a symbol of courage, sacrifice, and patriotism. And so when it comes down to it, these men didn't just play football. They embodied bravery, loyalty, and dedication, both on the field and for their country. And they remind us that true greatness isn't just what you do in a game, it's what you stand for in life. And as always, guys, thank you. If you enjoyed the video, got anything from it, or want to share it with one of your friends, go ahead and do that now. We're almost at the end of our Veterans mini-series, and I loved making it. Now, I still got one more coming out on Veterans Day itself. Now, this is someone I haven't covered yet, and I'm doing a solo video just on them. If you can guess who it is, leave it down in the comments. See if you're right. And as always, guys, I'll see you next time.